What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Michael Hunter and Alexander Povetkin. Okay. Of course, this was the co-main event. We just counterpunched and live streamed the main event. We've got that out of the way. Let's talk about Michael Hunter and Alexander Povetkin. Now, Povetkin came in slower because I think he was trying to pace himself like an older fighter would, a seasoned fighter like he is. He's 40 years old, for Christ's sake. Michael Hunter is a much younger fighter, and he had something to prove. Michael Hunter did. And he came out there to do exactly that, okay? He came out there to show, I belong here, first of all. I belong in this step up of class, okay? And I want to be here, and I want to show that I'm the best because, of course, Michael Hunter was that guy that was in the runner-up sweepstakes to be the potential opponent with Anthony Joshua. But it didn't go that way. Of course, he was once beaten by Alexander Usyk, okay? And Hunter did come out aggressive. He came out aggressive. He came out to prove a point. And to counterpunch this before I get started with the fight study, I think he did that because of Hasim Rahman. Because, of course, Hasim Rahman's last fight one of his last fights was against Alexander Povektin. And he stopped Rahman in Russia. No, it was either in Russia or Germany, okay? Because Rahman came over the pond to fight him in his backyard. But he did show Rahman who he was at that time, okay? So I think Rahman had vested interest to seeing his particular fighter, which he trains, beat this guy. You know what I mean? Because it would have been self-gratifying for him, I feel. And Michael Hunter came out, hit Povektin with a swift, aggressive right hand right over the top. And Povektin went back into the ropes. Hunter tried to blitz him. Povektin went to clinch, and Hunter threw his ass down. He threw him down to the ground. He got up. He rallied the storm because Michael Hunter thought, I got this guy. Let me blow right through this guy. Okay. And that seemed to be the case, but Povektin, showed he had a good chin, or the punching power from Michael Hunter is not clearly there yet in the heavyweight division. However, when the fight did go on, we seen Hunter trying to use the jab, still over aggressive. Still, he wasn't really satisfied, I feel, with the punching power or the way that Povektin took his punches. So he wanted to load up on those punches, which, when you're loading up on punches, that gives your punches a restriction in flow. Okay, you're not able to throw your punches fluid if you're trying to throw a punch, because now you're trying to load up punches. Then when you go to do that, like Michael Hunter was doing, he was giving Povektin enough time to counter the punch that he was loading up on with his own loading up left hook. But that's second nature to Povektin. So when he was throwing those right hands over the top, Povektin was countering him. And when Povektin did hit him with a left hook in the third round, Hunter felt that. He felt that punch, and but he took it fairly well. Hunter's a tough kid. That went back and forth. Povektin at that point, it was determined that Povektin was the harder puncher. Obviously, with an older fighter, your power is the last thing to go anyway, and he still had that clearly. Now, did he have what it takes to get Hunter out of there? Well, the fight went on, and Hunter, he tried to elude straight back. Povektin lunged and caught him. And if it wasn't for the ropes, people, Hunter would have been down that fight in that round. And I think that was the 5th round. Okay. Now, from the 6th, the 7th, it was Povektin. But then the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, Hunter started to come on. And I think it was the 11th round. Hunter did hurt Povetkin with his straight right. The same punch he caught him with in the first round, he hurt him with. Then he caught him again. And I think actually Hunter got the better of Povetkin while Povetkin was hurt versus the other way around. The only difference was Povetkin, every time he landed with Hunter, you could definitely see how it would affect him. Okay, so it balanced that fight off. Okay, 12th round, Both guys were at that point was gassed. Hunter had punched himself out. Povetkin had nothing in the tank left. So they did what they could do, with what they had left. And that was pretty much nothing. So the scorecards were one for Povetkin, 115, 113 for Povetkin. Then I think it was 115, 113 for Hunter. Then it was, of course, 114, 114, which was a draw. So this fight is a draw. Now, I hear a lot of people when I was live streaming, shouts out to people that caught that live stream, saying it was a robbery. And I don't want to hear that, because a robbery is something where you had a decisive winner. You did not have that. This was not a Joshua Ruiz 2, okay? This wasn't that type of fight. You had a guy that both guys hurt each other. One guy was punching a lot harder, and his punches were doing more damage to the other fighter, but the other fighter did hurt him back. I think Michael Hunter was a little bit busier, but was he effective with his busyness? No, not really. He was too anxious, and I think that gassed him out. I think if he would have calmed down instead of throwing punches, to the back of Povetkin while they were clinched, he would have had enough to possibly finish off Povetkin in the 11th round when he did hurt him. You see what I'm saying? So that's my prediction on that. I have no argument whatsoever with the draw. I think that Povetkin is a good enough fighter to hold his own. He's been doing well since the loss to Anthony Joshua. Michael Hunter, I don't think he deserved a loss either because he's already took a legitimate loss to Alexander Usyk. And I don't think this warrants a loss. So a draw is right up the money, and I do agree with. There's nothing really more to say about this particular fight. Where do they go from here? Povetkin, we don't know how much he has left. He doesn't have time to be fighting guys like Hunter. If he's going to do that, he should go to for the gusto. He's fought Vladimir. He's fought Anthony Joshua. He really has nothing else to prove unless he just wants one last payday. Okay. For Michael Hunter, I think he should work on his punch placement. I think he should work on his temperament. I think that he is a good fighter. He's tough. Again, none of these guys did go down. Okay. So it was nothing distinct to decipher in this fight. So I'm okay with a draw. It is what it is. It was a tough, interesting fight for the first 6 rounds. It kind of got stagnant in the later rounds until Hunter did hurt Povetkin, right? And Povetkin showed how tough he was, the Russian warrior that he is. Okay, so that fight is what it is. No robbery, a draw. I agree with it. Why not? You know what I mean? You guys tell me what you think about Michael Hunter versus Alexander Povetkin. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.